Okay, so we I think we're live. It is 1 o'clock. Actually 1:04. Uh it is early Sunday morning, 1/19/2025, and Honeybee is here. Honeybee, how are you? Good to see Honeybee. JC Annie is here. JC Ann is awesome. Honeybee is awesome. I was able to check out JCN's live tonight. Excellent live. Good information. She's amazing. So feel free to check out JC Ann's channel. She's great. She needs subscribers. Hey, Mustang 65 is here. Good to see Mustang. Good to see Honeybee. You have a new video. I'll have to check it out. When did you do that? I've been busy this week. Very, very busy. So let me know when that came out, and I'll I don't know what's going on with my internet. Paula Fitzhenry's here. Good to see Paula. All right, so I'll play my intro and I'll be right back. A lot to go over. But good to see everybody in the chat so far. But I want to know when this new video came out so I can go check it out. But good to see everybody. I'll be right back. Hope everybody's well. I want to do this one here. Be right back, guys. Okay, so I've been trying to put this Billy the Kid video here, but I don't know how to copy and paste that from this side here. It's Southern Gal. Hey, Southern Gal, how are you? Yeah, Miranda Lee's in here. Hey, Miranda Lee, how are you? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So show. I'm trying to. What does star mean? I don't know. Been trying to copy and paste this to put this in my ticker here, but it's not working. But good to see everybody here tonight. It's been a pretty fucked up week, but everything's good. Everything's well right this very second, so we'll keep it there. It's really bad out there. People are dropping like flies, getting sick. Hey, buddy, Necessarily Evil's here. Good to see Necessarily Evil. On the program note tonight, I'm going to kind of forego the missing person case because we're going to be covering a lot of other stuff. So, but I mean, technically, we're going to be missing persons case unsolved. Technically, I don't even know if I'm going to try to pronounce this. Eiosa. I'm an idiot. I don't even know. I'm sorry I probably butchered that name. But hello, how are you? Good to see you. All right, so let's get to it. It's good to see everybody in the chat. Southern Gal's here. Southern Gal's awesome. She has a great channel, great person, great people, awesome people. Did you have a live last night? Anyways, let's get to it. So I want to go. What am I doing? I'm so unprepared tonight. Your daughter was hospitalized this week, but she's doing better now. What with? Use a mirror to read. I'm just gonna call you Sa, Eosa, or is that Usa? Honeybee is here. No live last night. Okay. Yeah, my daughter had a 103 temperature early in the week, and she just can't shake the fever. But she's doing better now. She's on Augmentin. But she had COVID 2 weeks ago, so I'm wondering if it's the effects. Asshole backwards. Okay, got you. Ice hole. Oh, oh, that's too freaking funny. That's asshole. All right, guys, let me get rid of my face here. Yeah, that does suck. When your kids are sick, it's just as soon as they get back to school, it's no StreamYard being stupid. Got one coming up Tuesday though with Coach Kev. You doing it live with Coach Kev? Coach Kev is awesome too. I never announced him. Coach Kev is an amazing person. If you haven't seen Coach Kev yet, he's a great person. No, you get it. Now you get it. Yeah, I got it. Takes me a while. So let's go here. I want to go, first of all, I want to go, um, hold on here. I'm pretty sure that video clue us in. So I've been following this for a long, long time. I'm just going to kind of go over the basics of this case here with the I'm going to share this severe intestinal virus with fever that caused dehydration and low heart rate. That's why she got him. Oh, that sucks. Was that from COVID? Um, yeah, Necessarily Evil is good. He's awesome. Uh, got a few with Kev Flora and Cal. Oh, yes. I also follow Zanime. Zanime is awesome. She lives out in California, I think. She's been covering a lot of the fires too. She's an amazing person. I love her to death. She's an amazing freaking person. JCN's great too. But if you want to get with the fire, the battery fire, she covered the battery fire. And all right, so what am I doing here? I want to go. Actually, I'm going to do this first here. So let me share this. Yeah, Southern Gal is great. Anybody that's got a channel in here, feel free to throw the channels in here. Everybody's got great channels. Everybody's great content creators in here. So we're going to go over a little bit of the Crystal Rogers case tonight. Again, we've covered this numerous times in the past. I know I have. So we're just going to kind of read up a little bit of this and then go to the video here. Crystal Marie Rogers disappeared from her home in Bardstown, Kentucky. Everything seems to go on in Kentucky, United States, on July 3rd, 2015. Her boyfriend at the time said she disappeared from the home overnight. Her car was found on a nearby highway 2 days later. Rogers' family believes the boyfriend who was involved in foul play, and I believe he's in custody now. But we're going to go on to the latest here. He was considered a suspect after he broke off an interview, the famous interview. Her family also believes the case is connected to the unsolved 2016 shooting death of Crystal Rogers' father, who was shot and killed, or shot killed, trying to investigate the case. So in 2023, 3 area men, including her former boyfriend, were indicted on charges connected to the case. So we'll go over the disappearance and shit a little bit later. Everybody's great and awesome. Yes, great creators in here. We got JCN, we got Southern Gal, Honeybee is amazing. Necessary Evil's in here. Paula Fitzhenry's got a great channel too. Your channel, my channel. Southern Gal is awesome. Arctic True Fox. Coach Kev is great. Coach Kev is an amazing person. All right, so let's. Patriots roots for the wrong college football team. That's all. All right. So let's play this here. Let me see if I can find it. On a second here. Got a lot of cases to cover tonight, so just kind of bear with me quickly here. We're going to go. I just had it right here. Okay, so um, okay, so let's play this here. Sorry, my internet's acting up here. Let's stop this. Yes, the Lions lost tonight. I can't freaking believe that. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl this year, KC, but obviously that's not going to happen. So let's do this here. This is we covered this case, but here's this is Vinny here. This came out 4 days ago, and we'll play this here. I hope everybody's well. Been a tough week here for me. I can't spell tonight, neither can I. Yeah, the Commanders are for real. Yes, you're awesome. Miranda Lee's awesome. Shout out to your daughter. Hope she gets better soon. A lot of shit going around. It's got the flu going around. You got RSV going around. You got COVID going around. You got that stupid norovirus going around. You got a whole bunch of shit.
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation is missing mother of five, Crystal Rogers. It's a family tragedy on many levels.
It's so tough when your kids get sick because, I mean, I've been through this before. Kids being sick, but when they start getting fevers and stuff, it's tough on parents, especially me. I freak out. So, all right, let's listen to Vinny.
5 children without a mom and a father who was murdered.
This is another one of those cases here, the Crystal Rogers case, that just bothers the shit out of me. I just don't know what's going on in this case. It can't be that difficult.
Looking for his missing daughter. Here's the story. It was July 3rd,
Big Fish is here. Good to see Big Fish, Small Pond. She came for a few, but she's back. After she got out of the hospital, she came home for a few days, but she's back at college now. Oh, okay, so she's not in the hospital now. She's in college. Okay, good. Good.
2015, Crystal Rogers, a 35-year-old mother of 5 children from Bardstown, Kentucky, was at her boyfriend's family farm. Brooks Houck and Crystal had been together for over a year.
If you ever want to watch a great interrogation, John Paul Hansen's here. Good to see John Paul. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. But if you want to watch a really good interrogation, this guy here, the boyfriend here, that's Police Interrogation 101, period.
And shared a child, Crystal's youngest. But after that, no one has seen Crystal. She vanished. This was devastating for Crystal's parents, and her dad, Tommy Ballard, made it his mission to find his missing daughter. He searched for her every day for 16 months until someone ended his search with a gunshot to his chest.
I want to thank all the people who help out with putting everybody's channels in chat, because that helps me out, because it would take me forever to do it. But I want to thank everybody that does that.
3 men, including Brooks Houck, have been arrested for Crystal's murder, despite
She was 35 years old, 5'9", 159 pounds. This case has been going on forever. Just almost as long as Flora, I think.
That Crystal has still never been found. Will investigators be able to find her before the trial begins? Brooks Houck spoke with investigators and had an interview. It was recorded on video. It was a bizarre interview, and I think the type of interview that prosecutors may attempt to use against him. There was one significant moment, and this is July 8th of 2015. So it's been several days since Crystal Rogers has not been seen. And Brooke Hauk is speaking with a detective. And there is a question about a phone call that was received on July 4th at 12:07 a.m. Kind of a suspicious time in the time frame when Crystal Rogers is vanishing or is no longer seen. So let's take a look and a listen to this part of the police interview. Very.
This is freaking awesome. This interrogation is one of the best interrogations I've ever seen. It's sometimes almost like artwork how they try to get these guys to step in their own dog shit. It's great.
Very significant.
Okay, if we get that number in?
Yeah, go right ahead. Do what you gotta do.
Looks like you got a couple messages. I don't know how to do that. I've got an Apple phone. So just,
You just want to put the number in, right?
or check contacts or however you do it to see who it is, yeah.
492-1390.
Let me know if John Paul Hansen wants a wrench. Heather Brown is here. Hey, Heather Brown, good to see you. Heather Brown is amazing. I don't know if she's got a channel yet, but she should. It's always good to see Heather Brown in here. Who jumped in here while I was trying to find something else here? But good to see you, Heather. Always good to see you. Hope you're well. All right, hold on a second. I'm just gonna. Whose email?
Just call it. Oh, Steve Lawson.
Okay, who is Steve Lawson?
He's somebody that works for me.
I just want to tell you I'm sorry about everything that's going on in your life, brother, and I got you in my prayers.
I said it is a very difficult and trying time, but I appreciate you you saying that. But hey, I need your help while I got you on the phone here. Do you remember the other night you called me really, really late, and I forgot what you asked me. Can you? I guess we wasn't on the phone. I'd have been tired. I know it was pretty late at night. Can you remember what you asked me or what you were after? I can't remember.
Sure, I can.
We're just glad you're well, Southern Gal. We're just glad you're well. That's all that matters. Yeah, there's been this head cold that's been going around for like the last couple of months. People get it. My wife had it. I think she had. It's just one of those persistent things that just never seems to want to go away. Here it could be the temperature. Like it's been like it's going to get cold again this week here down into, the minus digits, and then it's been in the 40s too. So it's who knows what's going around, man. You just got over walking pneumonia. That's what I usually get. I just work right through it. I can't. If I just when I get sick, I have to work through it. I can't lie down because I'll be sick for weeks. No, not today was 4, and they said 3 to 4 days. You know what they say? Sometimes no news is good news, right? Is that what they say? Honeybee's amazing. I can't wait to check out her new video. She got a new video. I wish I would have known that. I would have watched it before, and I watched that stupid football game. I mean, it's not usually like that here. It's usually, once you get into January, it's just cold. But it's been. We hope you're well, Heather, for sure. You just let us know anytime, and if you need anything, let me know. All right, let me get back to this.
For a house.
For a rental house.
Yes, sir.
And what did I forgot? What did I tell you?
This guy here thinks he's so intelligent, but he's such a dummy.
Told me that you would call, what's her name, Katie or whatever, she handles all that.
Crystal.
Okay, I apologize.
Yeah.
And she said she handles all that, and that you would back with me on it.
All right. Thank you so much, Nell.
Hey, if there's anything I can do, you give me a call.
When you get to be my age, you have nothing but, I mean, you have to be patient. Nothing happens quickly, that's for sure. New BTK, yeah. Billy got some bad initials for this group. You're a musician? I didn't know that. Hey, here now it's 60 during the day and 20s at night. Yeah, it's gonna be in the minus 20s here this week for sure. We got some really cold air. But at least we're not burning to death, right? I mean, the cold is the cold. It's going to be cold here in the wintertime, but at least we don't have, fires killing us here. All right. Honeybee's amazing.
You have a good night now.
Yes, sir. God bless.
It's bizarre, right? And every time I watch and listen to Brooks Houck, I think of like a bad reality show, right? A lot of reality shows are sort of scripted and there's like some bad acting. I just get that vibe. Now, that may just be the way he is. I don't know him, but that's the vibe I get from watching him in these interviews. Now, the man that he called, right? So there's this call. I don't even know who it is. Let's just call it. So he calls it, and it's a guy that works for him, Stephen Lawson. So then Stephen Lawson is brought in 8 years later and interviewed. And here's what he says 8 years later about that 12:07 a.m. phone call.
There's someone right around there and you call Bruce. I know Bruce. Maybe I need I'm not sure. Like I don't know how I got the car. I got that sign.
Okay, so now the story's changing a little bit. If I made the call, it would have been about the, moving the car. So that brings us to the first question in our investigation, and it's about this phone call between these two. What was the purpose of the phone call? Because you uncover the purpose of the phone call, are you uncovering the truth of what was going on and what was happening?
Ew, an ingrown toenail. Ew. This appropriate handle here. Where's Mino Dino? I hope he's well. I hope he's okay.
And what happened to Crystal? Joining me to help us through all this, retired FBI special agent. He's an expert in criminal investigations, Bobby Chacon, and former anchor at Scripps News Lexington. She's followed this case closely. Nancy Cox with us. A great both here. There's one other piece.
These cases are so hard to keep up with sometimes because, I mean, you follow them, and then another case comes around and you follow that one, and then the years go by and nothing's done, and then you forget stuff. It just sucks. But this is a case here that I've been following for a while here. I hope they find her, but it's not looking good.
I want to put up because there's been a development now. We've gotten information from the grand jury testimony of Stephen Lawson. Here's what he said to the grand jury. When he testified before the Nelson County grand jury on June 14th, 2023, Stephen Lawson's new explanation for his 12:07
June 14th, 2000, so last year.
a.m. phone call to Brooks was that he called to tell Brooks that the job of moving Crystal Rogers' car was done. They say, this is from defense court documents, the government will also seek to introduce expert testimony that Steve Lawson left Bardstown after this phone call and traveled east in the direction of where Crystal Rogers' car was found on July 5th, 2015. So in uncovering all of this, Nancy, this seems to be the key, right? It's tying Lawson. It's a connection to Crystal's car, and none of it really makes sense for the original story of Brooks Houck.
It doesn't. And remember, the car was found on the Bluegrass Parkway that connects Bardstown and the city of Lexington with a flat tire. It was still running. Crystal's phone, purse, car keys, everything was still there. So what would be the significance after midnight to call Brooks and say, hey, I moved the car? And actually he said, I got the job done. That sounds to me a little more like doing something more than just moving a car. So to me, a call like that in the middle of the night and later saying he.
Yeah, it's so weird. I've been going into some of those channels too. I like Criminality though. She's all right. I have nothing better to do with my life. I'm driving around to listen to true crime. It seems to make my night go a little quicker, so that's why I do that. But lately, I've been watching a lot of or listening to a lot of the fire stuff out in California.
He didn't even remember it.
Well, so
It just doesn't pass the.
So I wanted to share this. Hold on one second. From the 3021, just missed you and JC's earlier. ML, hello. Yep, good to see you from the 3021. Saw them over in JCN's channel tonight. It was a great live she had. Venting some stuff. All right, so I've shared this before. This is Bardstown here, Bardstown, Kentucky here, and that's Boston, Kentucky, not Boston, Mass. So this is basically where all of this stuff took place here. So I just wanted to share that. Stop sharing this, so go back to that. Right, there we go.
Test.
Bobby Chacon, this has been a difficult case for prosecutors to get to the truth and get it to the point of where they believe they can prove it beyond a reasonable doubt because they still haven't found her. What are your thoughts about Brooks Houck and what he's saying in that interview, and Stephen Lawson in all of it?
Yes, there's a lot of people. Let me read some more of this here. We'll go to this because I know there's a lot of people that know don't know a ton. Some people know some. Where was I right here? Okay, so we'll read a little bit more of this and then go back to that. So the disappearance. At the time of her disappearance, the 35-year-old mother of 5 was living with her boyfriend, Brooks Houck, and their 2-year-old son and her other children. So Houck is the last person known to have seen her, stating he was on the phone playing games at their home when she went to bed. She was gone the next morning when he woke up, and her car was not in the driveway. This is always going to be usually not good. Her family began to worry after multiple attempts to contact her the day that they failed. Days later, on July 5th, Crystal's 2007 Chevy Impala was parked with a flat tire with a mile marker 14 on Bluegrass Parkway. I've done, 4 or 5 different lives on this case here. The keys were still in the ignition, and her purse and cell phone were also found inside the car. So she didn't just take off. People don't just leave this stuff behind. A cell phone is the huge thing. Like usually when I hear a cell phone's been left behind, especially on a female, it's usually not good news. She was officially reported missing by her mother, Sherry Ballard, the same day. And this is coming from Wikipedia, so who knows if all of this stuff is true. But this is, if you want to read up on this stuff here, this is, I think there's 3 or 4 people in custody now with this case. But this is a little bit new. And you stupid cat. All right, so let me share the video again here.
Well, I think what you hit on earlier, Vinny, was this vibe you're getting is a reality show type vibe. It does come off as this phone call to Lawson from Brooks in police presence is rehearsed. There's a lot of formality to it. There's a lot of, I think, talking the way those guys would not normally talk. He's telling him how sorry he is for what's going on in his life right now. I think there's a lot of things that two guys like that would not necessarily emote ordinarily to each other, especially a phone call at that hour of night. Now, the change in the phone.
Like I said, I'll never have a problem with people's opinion in my chats or, anybody's chats. I respect people's opinion. Don't have to, but I respect people's opinions. So I don't mind people's opinions at all. Because that's how the world goes around. Unfortunately, everybody's got one. Miranda's always welcome and has always been kind. Criminality is awesome. I like criminality a lot. But I watch everybody. So just at this point, though, I'm kind of Delphi'd out.
Phone call is significant. The change in the purpose of the phone call, from getting the numbers for the house to moving the car is significant because they realized that it didn't match up. Their first story about, this was to get numbers on a rental property because, because Brooks was going to give them information lawsuit. Well, he admitted in the call that Crystal's the one that manages that property for him. Crystal, apparently, according to him, was sitting next to him in the truck. So why would he have to say, I'll call you back with those numbers, or I'll Crystal call you back with the numbers? She's sitting right next to him in the truck. So that was their big mistake. So now they have to change that. They have to move away from that because they're caught in a lie. So the new lie.
I technically come here to get rid of get away from the drama too. Oh, that's so kind, Miranda. That's awesome. Thank you. I know I put a lot of people to sleep in here. That's a fair point. I know a lot of mods. They get their hands full. They basically just trying to mod. A lot of mods are not basically there for the, they're just trying to mod the chat. That's all. But anyways, let's get back to this.
From that is, it was about the car and about moving the car. So you're seeing the evolution of these guys.
I don't talk Delphi in here because Miranda doesn't like it when I talk Delphi. We are not asleep. You're not asleep. Honeybee's amazing. Honeybee's an awesome moderator for sure.
Getting caught in a lie and then changing their story.
All right, Nancy, I've got more of Stephen Lawson for you. September 12th, 2023, from his police interview. This is where he appears to be directly implicating Brooks Houck as wanting to see Crystal dead.
I understand the problems with this whole complicated case here, but I think, this is my opinion, I think they're wasting a lot of time not trying to bring this guy to a trial here. Hey, Lady Monet, good to see you. If I fall asleep, it's only because I took NyQuil. I hope you feel better, Southern Gal. You must be going through hell right now. You've been sick for, what, a week and a half? That's gotta suck. You guys are all awesome.
So, Nancy, in trying to figure out the significance of this call, the purpose of this call, you're trying to understand what
this phone call is important.
Everyone did, and it seems the information provided by Stephen Lawson helps against Brooks Houck, but he's minimizing his own involvement in all this as much as he can. So how do you see all of this at this point and the way that it may manifest itself in court?
Stephen Lawson has been incredibly inconsistent throughout this entire thing. At first, police were willing to talk to him, or the FBI to talk to him about possible immunity. him to be honest. And then, so he reveals a little bit and then a little bit more and a little bit more, because he knows they're not quite buying it in my eyes. But like you said, he has to minimize his.
You live between Bardstown and Delphi? Are you from Kentucky? You have a Kentucky accent? Kentucky accents are probably the best accents ever.
His role in it. So it seems like at every step, at every question that probes a little deeper, he's willing to give up some things, but he's remembering, oh, I have to keep my name clean. I have to keep my hands clean in this. And it just doesn't work.
He's a freaking liar. That's what he is. He's a freaking lying crap piece of crap. That's what he is.
And I think if he ends up testifying in his own trial or testifying at Brooks Houck's trial, those inconsistencies are definitely going to come out on the stand. He doesn't handle himself very well.
Oh, Gail Hurd, good to see you. Gail Hurd's here. I've toured several Indiana DOC men's prison facilities. You do. You live in Kentucky. Okay. You speak fluent Kentuckian. All dialects. That's classic. I don't know what it is about Kentucky accents, but I know Jinx has a Kentucky accent for sure. But I just love the accent for sure. Who did that? You okay, Gail Hurd? I hope you're well. I hope you're doing all right. It's always good to see you. You support. It's Charlotte. Charlotte's here. Good to see Charlotte in here. I hope you're well, Charlotte. Haven't seen you for a while. I've been worried about you. I hope you're well. Charlotte's amazing. Gail Hurd's amazing too. I hope Gail Hurd's all right. All right, let's.
Trying to go back
Just going over the latest on the Crystal Rogers case here. They're dissecting this phone call thing.
And forth between what he said and what he meant to say and what he wished he'd said and now what he's saying.
Yeah, Bobby, when you're speaking with someone who is involved and you're not sure how involved they are, how do you get to the truth for your own sake to figure out, what role did this guy play and how should he?
Good night, honey. I'll check out that new video probably as soon as I get out of here later tonight or early tomorrow morning. It's good to see you, Honey Bee. You're awesome. Thank you so much for coming in. I hope Gail's okay. Bundle up. It's going to get cold up here this week for sure. All right, let's get back to this.
Be treated by law enforcement and prosecutors.
Well, you go into an interview like that with a great knowledge of all the physical evidence, right? All the forensics at the scene, the forensics in her car, all of the science stuff that is fact. So you have a good handle on all of that. And then you review all his past stories, all his past interviews, maybe his past grand jury testimony, if there is any, and everything you know about him. And then you kind of lead him down a road and let him get down that road a certain distance before you pull the rug out from under him, tell him you're lying, that that he's lying, and then see how he changes his story. And they won't ever admit in the beginning that they're lying. It's a process. And so it's sometimes a frustrating process for us because they give an inch, and then you show them what your evidence is, and then he goes only up to that point. He only admits up to that point. And then you give him another inch, and he only goes up to that point. And so there's this game that they play, and it gets very frustrating after a while. Why don't you tell me the whole story? We've gone 5 steps, and you didn't admit to any of those 5 steps until I told you where I was on the next step. And so I know we're 8 steps ahead, and you're not going to admit that. So it's really a tough, long process. But the best thing to do is go in with a full handle on your physical evidence and a full handle
It's
on
hit or miss in a prison system or any type of DOC system. I know one thing though: if you do go to jail, whatever you do, if you have teeth pain, don't get your teeth looked at by prison guards or dentists that work in prison, because you won't feel good after. That's for sure. So many unsolved cases near Barden. Absolutely. Trooper Jason Ellis was unalived. there's a lot of cases in that area there, not just in Bardstown, but that whole kind of what is it, like a 3-state area? We got the Iowa case, the Evansdale case, a lot of cases around there, for sure. There's a lot of, it's Mino Dino. Oh, howdy, Fiuckers. We were just talking about you, yeah, Charlotte's definitely been missed. It's always good to see Charlotte. I hope Miss Barbara's okay too. I haven't seen her around in a while. I hope she's well.
They did in the past.
All right, we've got a lot more to get to. Coming up next, where is Crystal Rogers?
I've never, from the minute my daughter went missing, thought that she was still alive.
It's just so sad. I feel so bad for that woman. It's just let's skip right over the Karen Reed thing. Although I will be covering some of that with the Anna Walsh thing.
Still alive. My husband told me one time, he said, Sherry, maybe they just took her. I said, well, what do you think they're going to do? Give her back?
That's Sherry Ballard, Crystal Rogers' mother. She lost her daughter, and she also lost her husband, Tommy, who was shot and killed after searching for his daughter for 16 months. Can't forget that fact. So let me put this up. This is September 4th, 2024, WDRB reporting that the FBI was out searching 2 properties that were once owned by Brooks Houck's family. Federal agents began searching 2 Nelson County properties in connection to...
Okay, so this happened at September 4th. We know about this here. Federal agents began searching the 2 Nelson County properties Tuesday in connection with this was back in September. The 15th disappearance. I can't believe it's already been that long, 2015. The properties, Whitesides Road. We covered this, remember? Brooks Houck was charged, who was being charged in her unaliving. So
the disappearance. The properties were once owned by family members of Brooks Houck, who's charged in Ryder's murder. The FBI conducting the search on Whitesides Road, a rural residential road between Fairfield and Highgrove in Nelson County. The FBI would not provide the exact location of the search, but it's being conducted on properties once owned by Anna Whitesides, Houck's grandmother, and Nick Houck, his brother, as recently as 2018.
You were in Belgium? How did you get in Belgium? How did you get? Why were you in Belgium? That Brooks Houck's brother had a pew connected to her. Yeah, absolutely. Just waiting still. It's always good to see Dino in here too. I hope everybody's well. I'd love to go to Belgium. So they searched all of these properties here.
These were in the Houck family dating back to 1900, but have since been sold off. And we've got some video of these searches that were done. And each time she was not found, some evidence may have been recovered, but all of this brings us to the next question in our investigation. And this was the question that really started everything. Where is Crystal Rogers? Where is she? What happened? Still with me, Nancy Cox, who's been covering this story very closely, and joining me, private investigator, founder of Victims News Online, Erica Morse. Great to see you. Nancy, what can you tell us about these properties that have been searched? How expansive is it? And have they searched anywhere outside of Houck's properties?
They searched a subdivision where Brooks had been constructing some homes right around the time that Crystal went missing. When this happened, I thought this might really be it. They dug up these concrete driveways and
yeah, I just saw Mata Hari on JCN's channel earlier. I haven't seen Barb though. I haven't seen Barb for a while. Yeah, how the waffles? It's like asking the French how the French fries are. Okay, so Barbara better not ditch us. Yeah, I haven't seen Barbara.
Concrete slabs. So you were thinking maybe they're really onto something, but as far as we know, nothing directly tying back to Crystal was ever found. You got to remember they searched Brooks' home, storage units, his brother Nick's home, his grandmother's property, a farm.
I would like to know with these things whether they received a tip and that's why they searched there or not, or if they just went on a hunch. Who knows? But I would like to know that stuff.
That subdivision I mentioned, and in each time they carried out so much evidence. They called it mountains of evidence, thousands of documents, many hours of police interviews, all that has stacked up for all this evidence. But the one thing they truly need is to answer that question. Where is Crystal? It could clear Brooks' house.
Don't the Dutch do everything better? Who knows? There you go. That's Timmy's Legacies channel there. There's been thousands of tips. Yeah, there's got to be a whole bunch here. Good to see Lady Monet, though. Lady Monet's wicked smart.
If she were found somewhere else, or it could be the final nail in the coffin.
Probably the money trail. They're probably trying to get some sort of a money trail because this guy claims he was this big, big guy. He's just not.
And so to speak, if any of her remains were found on one of those properties.
Erica Morse, what are your thoughts about this question that we've been talking about for years now? Where is Crystal Rogers?
This case reminds me so much of the Billy Smolinski case out of Waterbury, Connecticut, who actually Billy would be 51 tomorrow. They have spent years tearing up subdivisions.
Why haven't I heard of that case? Have I heard of that case?
The people involved.
This woman here is an amazing person here. She's a great investigator.
We're in the contracting business, and the vast amount of collection of evidence is so overwhelming that it can take years to sift through that. I recall last June, they were searching one area where they were very confident had a connection to her. And then they were back in September to another location, still in Nelson County, still in Cox's Creek, doing a different.
Hello, Justice Jane. Good to see you. Big Fish is here too. It's good to see Justice Jane in here. Always good to see new people in here. Just going over the Crystal Rogers thing, and then we're going to move on to something else here fairly shortly. But good to see everybody here.
Different search. So when you have somebody like Stephen Lawson, as Nancy said in the last segment, dropping these little breadcrumbs, so to speak, and bringing little tidbits in with every new conversation, it's infuriating because it feels like a cat and mouse game. And I'm so glad that he's been charged, because we don't talk enough about the resources that are being wasted in searches such as this.
Thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars go into this stuff. This is, anytime they go looking in these places here, this is a lot of money, a lot of resource. She's right.
So, Nancy, we're seeing some of the video, and it appears to be extremely rural. How would you describe this area? Are there bodies of water in the area as well? How would you describe this part of the country?
It's very much farmland. It's not a densely populated county by any means. There could be ponds or
Okay, so Justice Jane has a channel, and Silent Gal was fantastic enough to put it in the chat. So I'll have to remind me. I got to go over there and subscribe. We We love supporting other people here in the chat for sure. Yes, I believe they have the Dutch are absolute geniuses. So clever. Yes, the Dutch and a lot of other people. There's also sinkholes in that area. Really? I wonder what they're looking for. They must be looking for her.
Small lakes, possibly. There, no major body of water. There are creeks that are tributaries into larger bodies of water. But you just get this feeling that you really are.
I just don't think she's in a field or anything like that. They put her somewhere really good. And unfortunately, I don't think she was put in one piece. She's probably scattered somewhere, but that's just my opinion.
Looking for that needle in a haystack, and it will be very difficult. It's been 8.5 years now. If they haven't found her by now, and the strategic way they've searched these properties, you just have to wonder if they ever will.
Thank you, Heather Brown. Appreciate that. Any of these great channel creators, it's awesome to get the word out for sure. We're all about victims' families, getting some of these cases that don't get a lot of coverage, the coverage they deserve for sure.
Erica, I guess the key is, does more than one person know? If one person knows, it's extremely challenging, but if there's more than one, there's a much greater opportunity for someone to speak.
Dean Lawson's September 2023 interview is to be believed. Then what he described as witnessing Brooks and Joseph around a large hole with a lot of wood that was being stacked on top of one another with a large fire. That is an extremely disturbing story in terms of how Crystal made.
I truly hate this guy. I just do. I can't stand him. I just, give it up.
Be found, where Crystal may be found, and I think that it could be a contributing factor in why multiple locations are being checked. As you pointed out, Vinny, the only way to keep a crime like this to yourself is to be the only person involved. So the fact that we have 3, one of them is already spilled, and his trial is now separated from the other 2. I think there's some leverage there, and I think also they're still looking for that leverage with Tommy.
Absolutely. All right, Nancy and Erica are going to stay with us. Up next, what role will the Houck family play in this trial?
So that's I just wanted to play the latest on that because this is I think 44 minutes long and we got other things to do. But anyways, I'll keep following that case, of course. It's just been following it forever, seems like, but 2015 seems like that was just like yesterday. All right, anyway, so we'll go to this here. While I pull up the next thing here. All right. Yeah, no doubt. This is absolutely true. He was probably getting way too close, and it just sucks. It's just such a horrible case. I can't wait till they get what they deserve. Okay, so let's do this here. We'll do this while I look for something else that we're going to cover. But I came across this week too. This is the woman who was found unalived in the woods, getting into a stranger's car. So you never want to do that. A North Carolina woman was captured on her family's Ring doorbell camera, leaving the home and getting into a light-colored sedan on January 4th, so a couple weeks ago. Authorities launched a search for Heather Williams after she never returned home. Fayetteville, North Carolina police found Williams' body a few miles away from her home after a 3-day search. And then this is Law and Crimes breaking down the case here. So this happened, I think it was 3 days ago or so. So we'll take a look at this here. Here we go.
This woman, last seen getting into a car. Less than a week later, police say they have found her body. Her death is being investigated as a homicide. I want to start by first showing you a picture of a woman with the name of Heather Williams. You can see right here on your screen, and see that she had a great smile. She often posted pictures on social media.
Yes, JCN. This is I came across this earlier this week here with this case here. Charlotte's amazing. Charlotte's an amazing person. Yes, absolutely. This is another one of those disturbing cases. She apparently got into somebody else's car for who knows what reason, but this is just the reason why you don't do that.
Herself, with her family and her friends. But now police in Fayetteville, North Carolina, are searching for her killer. She first went missing on January 4th of this year. Police in Fayetteville put out this flyer in hopes that someone had seen her, that she had been missing, and that she could be brought home safe. The last time they say they saw her was she was getting into a four-door sedan and driving off from her home. The next time police would release an update on this case, it would come 6 days later. They found her body in a wooded area in Fayetteville, around here, near State Avenue and Newark Avenue. This is about 5.5 miles away from where police say they saw Williams getting into that car and driving off. The day before police say they found her body, they did find that car that she was seen getting into, but other than that, police have not released too many details. This is a case that has gotten the attention of people far beyond her hometown of Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's starting to get some attention in the national media. Also, a statewide alert went out about Heather when she went missing. Her family told WRAL TV that she was in a car accident in 2015 and she suffered from cognitive impairment, which impacted her ability to speak.
Yeah, I think they made an arrest earlier, right? Hey, Jocelyn, how are you? Jocelyn's here. You're not late. I was late. I'm about 4 minutes late tonight. But it's good to see you, Jocelyn, for sure. Jocelyn's amazing. Amazing person. Feel free to throw your channel in here too. Always good to see Jocelyn in here.
Also say she walked with a limp because of that accident. Her family told WRAL that as far as what they've heard, police say there is a person of interest in this case. The station also reports that police have traced a 3-minute phone call made by Williams in the days leading up to her disappearance. But at the time of this recording, still no suspect has been arrested, and her family, the police, and her community are still searching for answers and information that could help solve this case. Joining us now to dive more into this case and the search for a killer is retired NYPD Detective Tom Smith. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. It has been, at the time of recording this, 10 days since Heather Williams went missing. Based on the evidence we're seeing at this point, what detectives have to work with, what stands out to you?
Well, always establishing a timeline is very important when it comes to an investigation. You want to start at the very beginning of where this all started. And then from then you can kind of work backwards, which is the way I did a lot of cases that I was involved in. So that would be into social media, emails, communications of any sort with anyone that might have been involved with this. And then going forward in the investigation with other types of surveillances that are out there, like cameras, store cameras, traffic cameras, anything that can establish a clear-cut timeline of what happened with this case.
Often you hear the first 48, and for those who are not in law enforcement or in the legal community, that's what you hear in the movies, you hear it in the TV shows. But now that we're 10 days since she first went missing, at this point, where would you say the investigation is at?
Well, like I said, it's now established what happened. You have a body. So now it's not so much a search. Now it's the investigation of what happened to this girl. And that's what's going to be the focus of everything that has to do with her is now going to be in play and put into a possible prosecution of someone. And that starts right away. You want to get into the DNA.
I told JCN tonight, I have no problem promoting other people's channels in here. There's a lot of great creators out there. Sound Like I was one of them. Mr. Steve True Crime is another one. Jocelyn has a channel here. Butterfly True Crime. Hope that's doing well. But the channels that feel free to put them in here. The more we get word out there, the more we get some of these cases looked at, the better. Justice Jane, I got a great channel. I'll have to check that out for sure.
Electronic communications, digital footprints, anything you can do to establish someone's guilt. And that prosecution of that case starts with the
Because I really believe it's making a difference. I think social media done the right way, or done anyway, technically puts Zero Cool. How are you? Good to see you. Makes a difference. It's make a difference in the true crime community, making people aware of things that go on. So I definitely think there's more positives than negatives.
When this case starts, so you start building evidence, you start getting interviews done, possible witnesses on top of just physical evidence that might be at the crime scene.
It's Timmy's legacy. It's Miss Barbara's in here. Good to see you, Miss Barbara. Hope you're well. We were just talking about you. Zero Cool's here too. Thank you for coming in. I hope you're well, Miss Barbara.
And one of the big pieces of evidence that has been found is this car that she was last seen getting into. We don't know who was driving the car, but the day before her body was found, authorities were able to locate this vehicle. What type of evidence could they get from that car?
Oh, every type of DNA evidence you can think of. And again, not only the DNA evidence, now you have the car. So now you can pinpoint other surveillances, as I said, like videos and store surveillances, door cams, anything that could do to locate this car. But as far as what could be in the car is a complete treasure trove of possible DNA evidence.
Thank you so much, Southern Gal. There's Mr. Steve's chat here. Miss Paula Fitzhenry's in here. Steve is awesome. Steve is great. But so isn't Barbara. Her channel's awesome.
It's from sweat, hair, blood, fibers, anything that could do linking that car to a perpetrator and then linking it to the victim.
At this point, we know about this victim, Heather Williams, is that according to her family in 2015, she was in a car accident and she had.
This is just so sad. This is just another one of those perfect life here. She's living the dream, and now it just no more. It just sucks.
The challenges that she lived with. As a victim, how does that impact the profile of how you're trying to figure out the way that she interacted with people, who she may have interacted with, and who potentially could be a suspect?
Yeah, that's all going to play out on, like I said, a digital footprint. And there's people out there who take advantage of that. And that's what you're going to key on. Was this someone known to her that knew the capabilities or lack of capabilities that she had and the limitations that she had? So it may be, you know, a communication that can be found with conversations that went on that triggered this person to realize that she may be in a limited capacity and then took full advantage of that.
At this point, when you look at this story, and it's starting to get a lot of attention originally over the weekend when she was first reported missing, and then her
It just sucks. It's just the suspect had kidnapped and assaulted before. I saw another one here that I wanted to read. Domestic violence, is that what it is?
Was found. It was really a local story, but now this is expanded to a national story. I know you have covered stories like this, have investigated cases like stories like this.
Was she hearing impaired? Cognitive impairment. Endangered due to suffering from a cognitive impairment with limited speech. Was she? Is that what they say now? Hard of hearing.
Really a local story, but now this is expanded to a national story. I know you have covered stories like this.
What a beautiful kid. You know, just freaking sucks.
Have investigated cases like this throughout your career. What is it about these types of stories that seem to generate so much interest?
Well, it's the mystery. It's the whole mystery thing that people get wrapped up in, and the true crime nature of it. You know, you have the mystery of this young girl who, like I said, like you said, was in an accident and has a handicap. So that plays into it, and it's an interest. You know,
I don't think Charles left. He was here a little while ago. He kind of goes in and out. Charles does a lot of stuff on other people's channels too. Charles, Necessary Evil is good. I miss you too, Miss Barb. This head cold has me down for almost 2 weeks, so I haven't been on much. I hope Miss Barbara's doing okay too. Duke, sound. Yeah, I hope Miss Barbara's doing well.
These mysteries consume people and they get wrapped up into it, and it just lingers. It's a continuous story as far as this goes and as long as this goes. But, you know, we don't know where the investigation is because police are keeping it pretty tight-lipped, which I understand. A lot of investigations like this keep a close niche on it because you don't want too much information out there when you're looking for someone.
Right. Okay. So I just wanted to play that. So apparently from JCN, they've arrested somebody, a suspect. I'll try to find that. Media that everything seems to be breaking down. I took my dryer apart tonight, replaced everything but the motor. Yep. Necessary Evil is not here. I took my dryer apart tonight, replaced everything but the motor. So I guess later this week, I'm going to have to put a motor in it. Oh, that sucks. Oh. Yeah, when is that live chat with Coach Kev? I haven't seen Coach Kev around for a while. He must be busy. All right, so let's get out of this here. We'll go do this here for a little while. This is the latest on the Matty Soto thing here. Let me play this here.
His boyfriend. This as a
Okay, so this is Nancy Grace's mom's boyfriend claims Maddie started it. So here we go. This is coming from the real just piece of dog shit Stearns here. So they got a trial set for September 22nd, 2025. So this will be right before the Anna Walsh case starts. So here we go.
on secretly recorded jailhouse calls, we hear mommy's boyfriend turned murder suspect state, Maddie started it. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Story.
You got married? Oh. Oh, you got engaged. Okay, so they're not married yet. So I'll have to try to convince him not to do that. Good for him. Yeah, this whole case is just this is going to be above and beyond just this poor little kid. You know, she just had no chance. She just literally had born into the wrong family, man. This is awful. This is just terrible.
Thank you for being with us.
So you're saying presumably her
I mean, you just literally want to take a baseball bat to this guy's face. You just do. I mean, you just and I know everybody's innocent until proven guilty, but this guy here.
computer was in her backpack. Well, I can confidently tell you she did not go to school with her backpack. Because we found it in the trash.
Yeah, that's mom's live-in boyfriend, Stefan Stearns, trying to explain why Maddie's backpack was found in the trash.
Nope, you don't want to be an expert on fixing dryers. But I hope you get it fixed. I'm pretty sure you will. It's always good to see you here, Miss Barbara. It's always good to have you here in the chat.
About that she went into school the whole time He knows why her backpack is in the trash, according to prosecutors, because he put it there trying to hide evidence. But in the most recent and bizarre turn of events, murdered Maddie Soto's mother, let this sink in, who has gotten immunity, says she feared a Woody Allen type situation. Listen.
I've always told him that my biggest fear is that this would turn into a Woody Allen situation where the stepdaughter or the dad grooms the child and the child then turns 18 and ends up running away with him. I told him like that was my biggest fear and I don't ever want that happening. Like you can't do to me like.
So take a listen to this.
So if we go back to 2020, we're looking at a minimum of 3.5 years. 3.5 years where I'm sure you guys are sexually active. Yes. So for 3.5 years under your care in your house, not only is he being sexually active with you, you had a sexual relationship.
Did you hear that crying? See, in my mind, straight out to Shannon Butler joining us, investigative reporter WFTV, Channel 9 in Florida, where this happened. Shannon Butler, those little gulps should have happened when she first thought she had a, quote, Woody Allen situation between her live-in boyfriend, Stefan Stearns, and her little girl, then 12. Of course, Maddie told everyone the moment she turned 13, she wanted to go live in the woods. Gee, I wonder why. But I think those tears would have been more appropriate when she first had an inkling there was a Woody Allen situation. Her words, not mine, Shannon.
Yeah, early on in this investigation, when we first talked to investigators, right after those interviews, just hours after those interviews, they had told us they had felt she was much more upset over what was going on.
Hello, Matahari. Good to see you again. You'll fix it. You're determined to fix it. Yeah. Well, once you get working on those things, you got to do it. It's Florida will give him the death penalty, and the mom should get it too. She might be. It's just, just such a sad thing. I just hate this guy. I hate anybody associated with this guy. So yeah.
Going on with Stefan Stearns than what was going on with Madeline Soto. I don't know if it just hadn't sunk in.
I know one thing: the police weren't buying his shit. That's for sure. They were onto him quick, I think.
In yet that Madeline may be found dead at this point, but they felt that the tears and the anguish was much more about Stefan Stearns and what was going on there than about her daughter, and that always troubled those investigators early on in those interviews there. I mean, you can see by their behavior, if you listen to this, they were agitated.
The 3 o'clock here.
In this interview, trying to figure out how this possibly went awry, how she missed it. She said she knew nothing about it, but in that comment that she was worried about.
I wonder if they take these tissues here and swab them to see if they're actually really crying or not.
They were agitated in this interview, trying.
Watch this here.
To figure out how this possibly went awry, how she missed it. She said she knew nothing about it, but in that comment that she was worried about her daughter in that Woody Allen type situation, obviously there was some kind of feeling you had, right? That something.
Really, good to see you. I forgot to do that. I forgot to look into this Find Bob Cotton thing. Find Bob Cotton. I can't speak tonight for some reason. But I will definitely do that. It's good to see Matahari in here. Saw her earlier on JC Ant's channel. Good to see Lisa Joe in here. Thank you so much. I know somebody emailed me saying that, not emailed me, but somebody noted on one of my things said that you sent them over here. So thank you for that. Have they said if Maddie was pregnant? I'm still looking into that. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if she was.
Was amiss in your
Yes,
home.
exactly, Shannon. And you know what? Shannon Butler, guys, joining me from WFTV Channel 9, you really hit the nail on the head. I want to hear this one more time.
This is one of those cases that I will never forget. This case here, and there's a lot of them. I don't forget a lot of them, but this one here, I hope they fry this guy just too.
Because all she's talking about is me. Nothing about Maddie. Woman, Maddie is dead. The state says your live-in boyfriend murdered her before she could reveal you were her practically on a nightly basis.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I will do that right now. Hold on a second.
Alone in bed while mommy got a good night's sleep in another room. Listen to this. You're dead on, Shannon Butler.
I've always told him that my biggest fear is that this would turn into a Woody Allen situation where the stepdaughter or the dad grooms the child and the child then turns 18, up running away with him. I told him that was my biggest fear and I don't ever want that happening. Like, you can't do
That's
that.
just not normal. That's just not a normal thing. I've never thought that kind of situation is normal at all. I mean, I don't know what's going on in society today, but that's not a normal thing. I don't think that's. I've never heard of that before. I've never heard of a mother actually letting that happen. It's just, or father. I mean, if I was a father and I knew that was happening, even if I wasn't, it's still associated here in this family union here, I'd be pissed. That would not happen at all, ever. That's just wrong, period. Huh.
To me, like,
you can't do that to me. Okay, wait. Let's analyze this. Shannon Butler is onto something. You have to dissect what she's saying. Listen to this. She says, I've always told him, Stefan Stearns, the alleged killer and child, her boyfriend. I've always
All right,
told
let me know if that worked. I think I just do you want a wrench too? Oh, you already have one. Southern Gal's gonna tell me now throwing wrenches at people again. Let me know if that worked or not. I think I just gave Lisa Joe a wrench. And if Lady Monet wants a wrench too, let me know. You don't have to do anything if you have a wrench. It's just if you have channels, people with channels, you can post them in here. All right, let's go back to this.
In my fear, this would turn into a Woody Allen situation where the stepdaughter, is she talking about her natural born daughter? Where the stepdaughter, the dad grooms the child. And then the child turns 18 after going through years of, which Maddie did, years of. The child turns 18 and runs away with him. Like what? The child's.
You should, Heather. I can't wait. I'm waiting in anticipation. Wrenches. Southern Gal. Going on with my internet now. Okay, hold on. Let's do this.
Getting the big prize here in this scenario. She runs away with him. And I told him that's my biggest fear, that her daughter would run away with Stefan Stearns, a deadbeat, slung up in his girlfriend's home, alternating between his mom's basement. Don't ever, you can't do that to me. Oh.
I almost can't even look at this guy without jumping through the computer. I mean, it's just so, he's just one of those people that you just want to punch right in the face.
Oh, okay. There's so many directions to go right here. Robin Dreeke is joining me. Guys, Robin Dreeke, behavior expert, former FBI special agent, chief, let this sink in, chief of the FBI Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program and author of Sizing People Up, a veteran FBI agent's manual for behavior prediction. Robin Dreeke. All mom cares about is Maddie Soto, now dead, at that time, a little 12-year-old girl. She might.
You watch this. This woman here, Nancy Grace, even if this guy doesn't think that, will convince this guy here that she's right.
Run away with the big catch, the BBD, the bigger, better deal. She might run off with Stefan Stearns and have him all to herself. Have I lost my mind? That's what she's saying, Drake.
I know. No, I even wrote it on the sticky here. I mean,
Why are you so calm? I know.
Because there's so many data points that are so predictable in this. Everything she's been saying the entire time is her, like you said, like Shannon said, you know, and that's what the investigators
I've
picked.
honestly never heard of that before in my life, Lady of Money. I've never I've seen a lot of weird things, but you know, when it comes to it's just sick. It's absolutely just sickening that would happen. Just and I've been trying to give the woman the benefit of the doubt, but at this point, I don't know. This is just not normal.
Picked up on right away, and that is they saw deviations from what normal people.
In my opinion, he was being groomed for a while. This didn't just happen that day. This has been going on, you know, for a long time, and she might have just gotten sick of it and said, "Stay away from me," you know, just or she probably learned that it just wasn't. I mean, this poor kid, it just sucks.
People that are missing their daughters normally react like, and she spiked way out of the norm on that. And there's so much leakage throughout this. And even, you know, I know haven't talked about it yet, but even his parents, I mean, everyone is seeing patterns of behavior that are deviating from what normal healthy people do. And they're all signals that saying there's a lot of unhealthy crazy going on here.
When we're talking about a Woody Allen.
It's so funny. Oh, I don't think I can, reread that. It's, but that is freaking hilarious. That's funny shit right there.
Situation.
Hold on a second. I want to read that. Where the hell was I? Right here.
Patterns of behavior that are deviating from what normal healthy people do, and they're all signals.
Janet Soto has not been charged in relation to Maddie's case and is innocent until proven guilty. So this must be coming from a lawyer here.
That saying there's a lot of unhealthy crazy going on.
I mean, this guy wasn't even working.
When we're talking about a Woody Allen situation, unless you've been living in a cave, I want to explain what Maddie's mom is talking about. Listen.
Woody Allen, Mia Farrow, that's the ideal power couple.
Woody gave her everything she could possibly want.
I was over the moon happy, but that's the great regret of my life. I wish I'd never met him.
Allen denies child abuse, but freely admits he's in love with another of Farrow's daughters, 21-year-old.
You know, like I said, sometimes, when you groom these kids this early, they just think it's normal until they get into school and start experiencing. They have no idea what's normal, and then they get out. Start getting into the higher grades. Maybe they go, stay at another friend's house, and they realize that it's not normal. This is just sickos. These people are just sick in the head. They need to go away. Period.
Old Soon Yi.
21 now. Okay, or at the time. That's where our friends over at HBO. It's Allen v. Farrow.
And I'm not right to say, I guess, sicko, but this sickos is just need to go away.
Was the name of the special at HBO. Okay. You know what? I just got to get my head around this. Mia Farrow says she had no idea that anything inappropriate or illegal may have been going on. And I have spoken with family members, and I believe Mia Farrow. But she gets a very rude awakening, according to her, when she comes home and finds a stack of X-rated Polaroid pictures of her daughter Sunyi. Listen.
There was a stack of Polaroid pictures. All of them were of my own child. I remember struggling to breathe.
That is Mia Farrow speaking to our friends at HBO in Alan v. Farrow. Okay, struggled to breathe. Joining me, Anna Sonoda, joining us, child sex abuse grooming expert, clinical social worker, and author of Duck, Groom. Anna, thank you for being with us. You know what, Anna? I'm just a trial lawyer. And I've tried a lot. I can't even count how many cases I've either tried or investigated and brought to a guilty plea. Child molestations where the mother knew full well what was going on. She either knew outright or she put on blinders and didn't want to see. I don't believe that about Mia Farrow. I believe Farrow really did come home and find these Polaroid photos, because when she says, I remember I couldn't breathe, it hit her like a train. Unlike the case here,
Yeah, this is
where
fact
Maddie
right here.
Sutter's
This
mother
is
way back said,
this is pretty much fact right here. The children are made emotionally dependent on the predator. That's what they do. It's it's just and I don't know if you can change that. It's just something in their mind that just like that the piece of shit up there in South Carolina in Myrtle Beach, the pastor there, it's just the same thing. It's just he had other ways of dealing with it, but they're all pretty much kind of the same.
I feared a Woody Allen type situation. What I'm saying is I had so many moms, I just wanted to give them a finger necklace because they would go along with it or choose not to see that their child is being.
Nancy, this is gruesome.
Yeah, I know that Necessarily Evil does a lot of work on other people's channels too. A 30-year-old case in Indiana that needs to be solved. 1994 unaliving of Delmar Wilson. I think I've heard of that. There's just too many cases out there. You get to spend, and Southern Gal does a fantastic job with the missing case. She does amazing work on a lot of cases, like everything really. But she does a fantastic job on the missing, and I try to repost everything that she sends out. It's just a full-time job, literally, because there's just so many of them. JP Miller for sure. Yep. He's another scumbag.
Even the fact that we have to have this conversation is.
And the thing about him is he'll do it again. In my opinion, he'll do it again. He'll find somebody else because it's in their DNA. It's what they do.
An alert, big red flag for anybody who's currently dating, has anybody coming in and out of their lives when they have children in the house. Predators go out of their way to be selective and intentional with who they choose to date. And women who are raising minor children are a perfect choice for a potential predator. Here in this case, we have child maltreatment at a minimum, because child sexual abuse is not random and it's not sudden. This was a reoccurring situation, chronic situation.
Steve Starnes has been charged in relation to the Madeline's case, but is innocent. Here we go with another lawyer here, putting this out there, making sure they put this out there that he's innocent until proven guilty, and I believe that. But they got this guy coming and going, man. It's
for poor Maddie that she had.
I don't think this is this huge whodunit. Jennifer Soto has not been charged. We've got that one already.
Had to endure because no one was protecting her.
When you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if he did this stuff fine, but what if she's still missing out there? What if somebody took her? I still wanted to believe his.
Is this an interrogation room? This is weird. I don't think I've ever seen an interrogation room with a sofa before. This is almost like something you'd see in a psychologist's office here.
I believed him. I believed his whole story. So I was just like, I kept repeating that part. I'm just like, what if she did get dropped off? What if she got abducted? What if she's missing?
What is this woman on about? What is she saying?
Sometimes you gotta love her. It's so funny. Oh.
After you showed me the images of my live-in boyfriend, Stefan Stearns, my 12-year-old, I didn't want to think he did anything evil to her. What? Okay, that said, let's move forward with what we're learning now. Mom long feared a Woody Allen type situation, but did nothing about it. I want you to see new video that we have obtained.
Do you have your own channel, Lady Monet? Years ago, when I was a victim advocate, an 11-year-old was, I don't think I can say, impregnated by her mother's boyfriend, second time. Mother failed to protect the child. Yeah, it's just, I literally have very, very little patience for people who do stuff like that. It's just a sick thing. It's just, you know, they don't belong in society, period, at all. And it just, it's been going on forever. You would think that they'd be better at this than that, better at that than this. I don't know, whatever. But I have no, Delar Wilson, 20, unalive, Washington County, Indiana. I'll have to check that out. Back to this here.
Of the defendant, Stefan Stearns, acting out how Maddie was asleep in his car. Shannon Butler joining me, WFTV. Maddie wasn't asleep. She was dead, propped up in his car and buckled in.
Yes, assumingly, he wanted to do that because he drove out of the condo complex, right, on the way to school. So that would work with his story that I took her to school that day. So if there were cameras or any of the neighbors had, seen him, they'd be like, oh.
You definitely should. You have a ton to offer. Lady Monet is awesome. Definitely a lot to offer for sure. But I get it. Some people don't want their own channel. I get it. It's not easy to do this stuff. It takes a little bit of effort for sure. I don't know. I don't even know how I do this, honestly. Southern Girl's awesome though. She's right on it. She's got awesome. Dino Beyond Belief is for the real. Okay, so that's the car there.
Oh, I saw him. She was in the front seat, and they were driving out of the complex to match his story. But
there's the tire right there. So I've said before, in that part of the country, especially that part of Florida, Kissimmee and Orlando, during the day, you can't do anything without being seen. They've got cameras everywhere. There's cameras and lights. This donut tire looks kind of flat too, so I don't know. But anyways, so they got him coming and going. You can't do anything down there without being caught on camera. Just can't.
Investigators knew right away.
Now, where they dumped her body, there might not have been a whole bunch of cameras around, but and the cameras are, especially the ones in the traffic lights, they could see right through, windshields, and they could see everything in this car, especially this car, because the windows are not tinted.
From looking at that video, they knew Madeline Soto at that moment was not alive. That is why they came out. So
it's support with my technicalities, the other technical issues the other night. Support with Steph is awesome. I've known support with Steph in the especially the Delphi case forever. Steph is incredible. She's amazing. It's good to see you in the chat for sure. What did Jen say? She had an idea of taking her to school. I don't know. There's conflicting stories on that. It's
early and could say that they believe that she was already dead before she left the apartment complex because that video to them was
Well, of course she was. I mean, it's obvious.
very, very clear that she was not moving in that front seat.
So, Dr. Eric Eason joining me, board certified forensic pathologist and consultant. Dr. Eason, I guess he buckled Maddie's dead body in because he didn't want to get pulled over on a seatbelt violation. The reality is, Dr. Eason, is that at that time, rigor had likely not set in. So her body would have still been limp. So he had to buckle her in or she'd fall over.
Hello, Heather E. Good to see you. No, you didn't miss much at all. We're just going over the latest on the Stephen Stearns case, Madeline Soto case. Heather E's in the house for sure. At some point, you got to make the content, and nobody else will. That's right. That's absolutely correct. People are, just. I mean, a channel is not the greatest thing in the world sometimes either. But it's good to see everybody. Have they charged Stearns with homicide yet? I think they have. Yeah, they've. I'll have to look into that because I'm not quite sure. Well, there you go. Thank you, Senegal. Thank you, Heather. Good to see everybody.
Correct. Yeah, the body still would have been limp, and she still would have been warm as well, because it takes time after death to occur for the rigor to set in and for the body to cool, or rather assume the surrounding environmental temperature. And then there's also lividity that would take a while.
It's just trying to live her life. I've always said to my kids that you're only young once, so enjoy it. Teen years, preteen years are the best years between like 8, probably like 7, and I'd say 12 or 13. Just sucks. It's a horrible thing.
While to set in that settling of the blood after death.
Hold on, Nellie. Wait a minute. Slow down, man. I know this is regular talk for you NEs. They're in the medical examiner's lounge, but slow down for all of us novices, okay? Rigor is when the body stiffens up. Then there's livor mortis, where the blood settles down to the lowest point of your body. Like if you're on your back, all the blood in your body goes to your back. And
We've been down to Kissimmee, Orlando, Cocoa Beach, Fort Lauderdale. I haven't been well, I might have been to Miami once, but we've been all over the place. You literally can't go anywhere there unless you take a side street, or it's Orlando. It's you're being filmed every second you're there, especially with all the tolls down there. It's you can't go anywhere. And this was basically during the day. Yeah, I bet you he did. I wouldn't doubt it.
Your rear end and the back of your legs. So explain to me why.
Because that is the good news. Most of these people that do stuff like this are not, the most intelligent people in the world. So they usually try to make a ton of mistakes.
He had to buckle her up because rigor had not yet set in. In regular people talk, please.
Well, she hadn't gotten stiff yet, so she was not going to be able to just sit there in the car seat without flopping over, and so it had to be buckled in.
What exactly is rigor? And does it set in and then dissolve over a period of hours, or do you stay in rigor?
No, it's muscle stiffness. So the muscles don't contract; they just become stiff due to the body depleting this chemical known as ATP. But trying to keep it simple, the body becomes stiff, and then over time you'll reach a full stiffness, full rigor, and then it'll slowly go away.
It's not unlike situations like this here. Of course, you can't tell a lot.
Simple, the body becomes
a lot by a picture or an image, but
and then over time you'll reach a full stiff.
There might have been some. I don't know how to say this. Between a mom and the daughter, some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? But it's happened here. So there might have been some of that going on here. But you can't really tell a lot by a picture here.
Stiffness, full rigor, and then it'll slowly go away. It all takes, it depends on how you die and the surrounding environmental temperature, but it comes on, then it goes away.
Dr. Eric Eason, every once in a while I'm analyzing a case or I'm investigating a case and I'm, running down the rabbit hole. Sometimes it's easy to
Yeah, the guy, Stephen Stearns, is just he's just a piece of dog shit, literally.
forget. We're talking about a little girl that just turned 13.
Right.
That had been living in hell for years since she was at least 9. And we figure that out because of how far back the video and photo images on his phone go. He, according to the state,
I'm covering the Najaya Harris case too over there in where was it? That's at Detroit, right? I may be wrong. But that's why he did that. He did that intentionally to befriend the moms so he could get with the children. It's sick, sickos.
had been this little girl and taking videos of it in mommy's
Najaya Harris, I think.
home for years. And you and I are talking about rigor and why he had to buckle her in and what is livor mortis and what is rigor mortis. And I have to think about my little girl and my little boy at age 12. It's easy to forget that, or do we just want to forget about it when we're trying to analyze? Because it's hard to focus on probative issues and forensics when you're thinking about your own child.
Right. Correct. Exactly. I mean, she was going through hell leading.
Yeah, the Harris case is very similar to this. That's why I started covering it, because apparently he had done it before too. And this guy Madeline, in the Madeline Slaughter case, though, Stephen Stearns, he's exactly where he needs to be. And I hope, that he gets, if he is found guilty, that he does get the DP, because he's just, anyway, they're just not living people. They're just not, they shouldn't be. Anyways, that's just my opinion.
Up to the death, and then we haven't even talked about the actual cause of death itself. So, she was strangled, which is a very violent way to be killed, especially if you're a 12-year-old, by another man. So,
a grown man, mommy's boyfriend, that has been molesting you for years. Okay, guys, I steered us off course, but I'm getting back on. I want you to see what I saw, and I couldn't verbalize why I was so aghast when I saw it, but you'll understand. Watch this.
It's so freaking sad. It's just that the whole Harris case is. I'll be playing a little bit of that shortly here. We played a little bit of the trial last week on the Harris case. Just another sad, just awful case.
Was asleep. She was just reclined in the chair.
See, I couldn't do this. I couldn't be a cop sitting in the same room with this guy here without, using this thing here. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Okay, explain to me, like reclining backwards.
Just laying back in the chair.
We covered that last week, Lady Monet. I don't know if you were here or not, but we covered the Najaya Harris case over there. I think it's in Detroit. Yeah, it's got to change. It has to change.
And veteran trial lawyer Philip Dubay joining us. LA County Public Defender's Office, which means he's tried a lot of cases. They can't even say, no, this case disgusts me. The judge says, you're on it. You're the public defender. Have fun with that. So I guess, Philip, I'd like you to look one more time at mom's live-in boyfriend acting out how little Maddie Sue just turned.
The really sad thing is, is that these people are not like your typical, they don't look like the werewolf. You know what I mean? They don't look like that. They look normal. Most of them sometimes live normal lives. And you would never think that the person that did this or does these things is in any way capable of doing that. And that's why people are so shocked. It's amazing how many people are shocked that, oh my God, I never knew he was capable of doing this stuff, or she was capable of doing this stuff. And it's the same thing all the time.
13 had just dozed off in the front seat of his car on the way to school one morning. She was sleepy. Watch.
She wasn't saying anything. She was just asleep. She was just reclined in the chair, sleeping.
Okay, explain to me, like reclining backwards?
Just laying back in the chair.
Do you see him
He's
leaning?
not even convincing. He's just not even convincing, because they're asking him specific questions so that he can step in his own shit. It's just so freaking. Oh, I gotta play that again because it's just hilarious.
Little Maddie Soto just turned 13. Had just dozed off in the front seat of his car on the way to school one morning. She was sleepy. Watch.
She wasn't saying anything. She was just asleep. She was just reclining.
Look at this
in the
guy.
chair.
Are you really serious? You're gonna say that? Oh my God! With the hat on backwards, just
Sleeping.
Okay, explain to me, like reclining backwards?
I just
Just laying back in the chair.
Do you see him leaning his
he's not fooling anybody. It's just so dumb. He's so dumb.
head back like he's snoozing? I guess, Philip Dubé, that's why you tell all your clients not to speak to LE law enforcement.
Of course, and they never listen, and that's why we all have a job in this system. But I will share, a lot of kids at that age who have to get up at 6:30 are tired. They're sitting in the car. They maybe just had a little bit of breakfast. They are fatigued themselves. They're not exactly like the energized bunnies looking forward to going into a
What are you
classroom.
saying?
Yeah, this Jen is not smart. I'm like saying she's like 5th grade level. Yeah, she's her baby's just an act. I'm starting, I used to stick up for her, but I'm starting to have second doubts too. I got to skip over this guy because I can't stand him. Hold on a second. Let's go back to this person here. We'll go to this here.
Car buckled in so she wouldn't fall over.
So investigators were very certain when they looked at that video of the car driving out of that complex, they could tell just from the video that Madeline.
They can see right in this car. I mean, these cameras are well placed in these, especially in some of these communities here, these condominium communities. They have cameras everywhere. They just don't let you drive in if you're not in that condominium development. It's not like other places where they got you coming and going in this place. They could see right in this car, so I'm pretty sure they got a pretty good look at what Maddie looked like in the car, how she was in the car.
And Soto was already dead. Now the timeline of when she was killed, that is still a mystery. They don't know what happened inside the house, but they know when she was buckled into the front seat of that car that she was already dead. They knew it by looking at it. There was no doubt in their minds. They came out very, very early and said that Madeline Soto was no longer alive. They could tell, they said, because she looked limp and was slumped over in the seat, it didn't look like she was sleeping to them.
You know what? I've got a very strong feeling that Dubé is not going to buy that because investigators said so. Dr. Eric Eason Maddie.
Yep. So Support with Steph is an awesome person. Timmy's legacy is Miss Barbara. She's an awesome person too. Very, very good people. She's part family here. And we're trying to find justice for her son too, for sure. So
Never
I'll play a little more of this and we'll move on to something else because I'm getting irritated with this clown.
made it to middle school that morning at Hunters Creek Middle School. She never got there. Okay.
Right.
The last time she was seen, she was in that car with Stefan Stearns.
No shit.
Okay.
Her mother did not speak to her as normal that morning before she went to school. The mother did not hear her voice.
This guy's a Clemson Tiger fan. I don't know if I like him.
To know she was alive that morning before she went to school. She didn't make it to school, so we know that indicates anyway, very strongly circumstantially, that she was dead before that. We know based on eyewitnesses.
Okay, so 7:30. I have this somewhere. 7:30 a.m. Stearns' car spotted near the apartment dumpster. And sometimes they put cameras there too, because there's a lot of people that throw, stuff in these dumpsters that start mass fires. I've seen that before too. I'm not saying there was one there, but they've done these things. Florida's notorious for dumpster fires. The old dumpster fire. That's too funny. Anyway, 7:36, female body and passenger seat as Stearns' car leaves the apartment complex, and this is all their timeline anyways. And I don't know if they have in this wooded area any CCTV, but I'm pretty sure they have the phone. And apparently he got a flat tire or something like that.
Is that shortly after she was seen in the car with Stearns, her body was dumped. He was spotted at the location where her body was dumped, going into the woods. Her body was dumped shortly after that picture. Now, isn't it true, Dr. Eason?
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why they're probably on any charges is because they're going to use her when they get to court. That could be one reason. But I do know that Support with Steph is awesome. She's amazing person. I've known Steph for a while. Well, I don't know her, but I've in different chats, different people's chats. She's an amazing person.
That a medical examiner can typically place a time of death. Isn't that true?
We can come up with a pretty good range. And so you base it on when they were last known alive and then when they were found dead. And you put a bunch of the pieces together and then you combine that with some of the.
Just think, this is.
When they were last known alive and then when they were found dead and you put a bunch of the pieces.
This child right here at this time was being completely abused by this piece of shit suspect here. It's just. All right, I gotta move on to something else before I get really angry. This guy here, I can't stand him. But that's the latest on that. I'll keep up to date with this. I do want to play this though because we covered this a little while ago today, and thanks to JCN, we know that they arrested a suspect in the. This case here, we just covered this, but this is this was done a day ago for the Heather Williams case. So this is the arrest of this person.
We have some breaking news tonight and a chilling mystery out of North Carolina. A suspect is now in custody in the killing of a 25-year-old woman named Heather Williams. Williams was last seen leaving her parents' home in Fayetteville the night of January 4th. In this ring cam video, you can see as she walks out the front door, walks across the lawn, and it gets into a gray four-door sedan driven by a then unknown person. Police would find her body in a wooded area 6 days later. Heather was almost entirely mute after being hit by a car in 2015 and spending months in a coma. Her family says she was learning how to talk again and walk, but injuries left her, her brain injuries left her overly trusting of strangers. Police say the suspect, Terrell Searmans, was arrested today and charged with first-degree murder. They also say he had just been released from prison for robbing, kidnapping, and shooting someone who actually survived. I'm joined now by Mary Williams, Heather Williams' sister. Mary, thank you so much for being here. I'm so sorry for what you and your family have gone through. And this is such a late-breaking development with the arrest of this suspect. And it's actually someone you had spoken with right after Heather went missing. Can you tell me about that?
Hi, Ashley. Thank you so much for having me and covering Heather's story. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It did get a little crazy, did it? It's just like, seems like old times. Been groomed by my own parents. Maybe thought it was normal and a special kind of love. Poor Maddie. Yes, absolutely. You hear these stories of, you know, how some of these people grow up and they think it's normal because they don't know anything else. You know, that sometimes they think it's normal. And I mean, I always go back to the pastor case there, J.P. Miller case. I mean, it was normal until there was a problem, right? But he's a piece of shit too. He's I have no respect for that guy whatsoever. He's and I know they can't technically charge him with unaliving, but he's just as guilty as the other guy, as far as I'm concerned.
Crazy how this whole investigation unfolded.
So this is the case we just went over, and they arrested this guy here, Tyrell Searmans, for the unaliving. I didn't know that she had gotten into an accident and was impaired by that. So this is a horribly sad case. This one here too.
Last week, we, checked the security camera footage and saw on Sunday morning that Heather hadn't come home and that she had left that night getting into this unknown vehicle that we had no idea who it was.
What is that? Is that a seeing eye dog, you think? Or hearing a work dog there, you think?
Yeah, who it was that picked her up. So immediately after filing that missing persons report, my mom.
Oh, this sucks. This is the camera footage here.
Tried to pull up her phone records on Verizon to see who was her last point of contact. And when we saw that last 3-minute phone call to that unknown number, I went ahead and dialed it and gave him a call to see who it was.
And what was the conversation like? What did he tell you?
So I had asked him, I told him who I was, that we haven't seen Heather. I asked him if he had picked her up or been with her recently. He did tell me that he did pick her up, that he had met her on Facebook, and that he couldn't tell me which night it was he picked her up. He couldn't remember.
Thank you for putting that in the chat, Southern Gal. I forgot to mention that. Is Charlotte leaving? Yes, I got to look into that for sure. Like a loud bang, metal something. Sorry, I haven't been keeping up with the chat. First thing I would do is get out of Belgium. Paula, there's all the good channels there, Paula. Got it ready to go right now. Yes, absolutely. For sure. Okay.
Didn't even tell me what they did. So I tried to pry. I said, "Where'd you go? What'd you do?" He said that she wanted to be dropped off at another location. She asked to go to somebody else's house the whole time. And so that's where he took
This whole case is just disturbing.
her, drop her off at somebody's house. So I asked him, well, what kind of car do you drive? And he said a red SUV. And I said, well, can you send me the Facebook messages between you guys if that's where you were communicating at, or the text messages or something, so I could see what day this happened at, so I can see if it matches up with the day we last saw her. Well, he didn't send me anything. So then I sent him a screenshot of that reporting where we have the car in the picture. And I asked him, is this your car? And did you pick her up in it? And he did finally come back and say he picked her up that night, but that he was using his friend's car, so that he wasn't lying about driving a red SUV, but that he was borrowing a car that night.
Wow. So you shared all of this, obviously, with the police. Were they able to take the ball from there
This video right here is just so disturbing.
and then lead to the arrest tonight?
So I asked him what his name was, and he would only identify as Zag, and that's all I got. So I sent the number over to the detective with the screenshots and told her about our conversation. Obviously, this was before we actually found Heather. So when she got all that, she ended up questioning him, seizing his vehicle, and searching his car that last Friday. And on that same day, that's whenever they were led to Heather's body. And so between last Friday, when they found Heather, and today when they made the arrest, I'm sure they were trying to put together all the evidence, within his car and in the woods, and found on Heather. It's horrific to even think about.
Mary, I'm so incredibly sorry that you're talking about your sister. Do you think
Southern Gal is amazing. Southern Gal is all the mods in here. Everybody that posts the other people's channels in here are awesome. I know she's doing a better job than myself. I got beat up trying to fix the dryer and still didn't get it fixed, but I know what the problem is. Well, that's all that matters. It's all that matters. We should. I should send you the new motor.
think that they were led to her body by the suspect? Do you think he coughed up details and took them there, and that?
Oh, so that means that he's going to get a plea deal. Oh, that freaking sucks.
That's why they could find her.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's just hope he didn't. Let's just hope he's stupid and just told her where she was.
So I honestly thought that it wasn't him, because after Friday of them searching the car and they didn't make an arrest even after finding the body, I thought, well, maybe it wasn't him, because again, that was Friday and it's almost a week later. I did see where the arrest warrant was taken out on the 14th, 2 days ago. So I believe that they found probable cause in between Friday and Monday or Tuesday. And then it just probably took time to bring him in. So I don't think that he.
It's amazing how people become forgetful when they want to, right? Like, especially in interrogations. Interrogations are so fun to watch sometimes. All of a sudden, people just disappears from their memory, like they just all of a sudden became really dumb and they don't remember anything.
Actually led them there. I think something they found in the car is what led them there to Heather.
Maybe there was GPS. I mean, that's often the case. That's something a lot of the newer cars have. But we were just looking at some of the pictures, Mary, of you and Heather together on the beach. You look like twins.
This is in a really Fayetteville, outside of Fayetteville, right? This is in I think this is right outside of Fayetteville. So this is these beaches are absolutely gorgeous. I love especially the South Carolina beaches because they're a little bit warmer. But anywhere in North Carolina, you got it. Beach time over here. It's great.
And I'm so hurt for you in your loss. You must feel angry about the fact that he was let out of prison for doing something violent and perhaps almost similar, but for the fact the victim survived.
Yeah, it's awful to see his record and to know that he's done something very similar to this, and did a stint in prison and was able to be back out on the streets. Unfortunately, it's just the world we live in, where you want to give people the benefit of a doubt, and
No, Miranda Lee just hates when I talk Delphi. I sneak it in once in a while when Miranda's here. But at this point, I'm kind of Delphi'd out. I may do an updated kind of thing on Delphi, but it's probably going to be in a few weeks, maybe. Because there's a lot going on in that case too. It's just there's so many other cases to cover.
You want to think they can be reiterated back into society and make good decisions. And it's so hard to believe that there's evil in this world that exists to do these kinds of things to people. And so, I'm not angry at the justice system or at the people who, didn't keep him locked up. I'm angry at him because he's who to blame. He's the one that made the decisions. And, other people shouldn't have to answer for his actions because he's the one who did this and he is the one with evil.
Exactly. There's a lot of blame that goes all over the place when it comes to who's doing what, who did what. It's, the blame has to go on the person that actually did the deed. It's oftentimes so overlooked.
Evil in him.
You are a very strong young woman, Mary Williams, and I just want to send you our thoughts and our heartfelt prayers for your family and what you're dealing with. And I hope you get justice in this case. Thank you so much for sharing your story and Heather's story with us.
Thank you so much for covering it. We appreciate it.
All right, so that's that there. I just wanted to play that because JCN was nice enough to let us know that they got the suspect. So we'll keep an eye on that. Just a sad, horribly sad case. That video was kind of disturbing. Sorry about that. All right, so I want to play this here too. This is this was done a day ago. This is the Nazia Harris case. Here, Peter Kurt. Maybe we played a little bit of the case last week here, but this is very similar to the Steph Stearns case down there, the Madeline Soto case, but this guy here was actually in custody before too. But this guy here that's being charged is just waste of life, literally. Just
the Detroit man charged with murdering 13-year-old.
there's absolutely nothing good you can say about somebody like this. It just isn't.
Nazia Harris. He appeared in court for the first time since his case was bounded over for trial. CBS News Detroit's Jack Springate sat on today's proceedings to tell us everything that happened in court today.
Well, today's hearing was more procedural than informative, but it did set a timetable for some of the next steps in this trial. The biggest development arguably happened outside the courthouse, and that was learning how much attention Nazia's story has been getting.
Is Mustang leaving? Good to see you, Mustang. If you're leaving, have a good night, buddy. Always good to see you here in the chat. Mustang's awesome. Let's go back to this here.
Since last week's preliminary hearing, but entered a not guilty plea before the court scheduled a calendar conference set for March 7th at 9 a.m. That's when deadlines to file motion hearing dates, and potential trial dates will be set. One of Nazia's adult cousins and staunchest advocates said her story has taken off ever since the preliminary hearing.
There are a few celebrities that have reached out. It's reached some very top tier platforms. So I'm hoping that, it moves in the right direction that it needs to go on.
Roxy says one of these celebrities was Detroit's very own Skilla Baby, who not only said he'd cover the cost to throw a community gathering to honor Nazia's life, but he's also changed his profile picture to this photo of her.
I'm very thankful that Skilla Baby decided to step up to the plate and take care of her. And it's just awesome how the community is coming together all behind Nazia.
Roxy told me her reaction to much of the online chatter that sided with Judge Aaliyah Sabri's observation that those caring for Nazia when she was abused didn't do enough to protect her.
Accountability matters. It's some things that you can be able to forgive your family members for, and this is just one of those things that I just personally can't. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And everyone involved in it needs to take accountability.
Roxy says she would have never let this happen if she were still living in Detroit 1 year ago. Again, Butts will be back in court on March 7th for that calendar conference, and you can continue to follow along this case with us here at CBS News Detroit as we bring you real-time updates as they happen. For now, reporting in Detroit, I'm Jack Springate, CBS News Detroit.
So I do want to play this here. We'll go over this. We'll go over the more of this case next week with the Naziah Harris case, but because the trial's there's a lot going on in this case here, and a lot of this stuff is a little bit too long right now to go over. So we'll go over this probably next week. I do want to go over a lot of this stuff, but we'll play this. Hold on a second.
More than 4 months since 13-year-old Naziah Harris stepped off her school bus and disappeared.
Now her family is still waiting for answers and renewing their pleas for someone to come forward.
So this was done a while ago, but this is the father that spoke out about this here.
With information.
Naziah was last seen back on January 9th at the intersection of Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive.
Now, the primary suspect in her disappearance is a registered sex offender currently being held in the Wayne County Jail.
Well, 7 News Detroit reporter Ryan Marshall is live at the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice in downtown Detroit, where the family will gather for a vigil later this morning. Ryan.
Well, guys, the family of that missing Detroit teen still seeking justice in this case. That includes Naziah's biological father, who exclusively spoke with 7 News Detroit. He is fighting for his own life, but is holding on to find his little girl.
I know the family hopes and prays that she is still alive.
Correct.
But if you get that phone call,
that's why I'm getting back in the ministry.
48-year-old Mervyn Jennings is Naziah Harris's biological father. He says he's...
So this is her here. I showed a few pictures last week on the live because for some reason they don't do the victim any justice in these things. But that was her 13-year-old kid.
He's tried to reconnect with his daughter for the past 8 years. Jennings says he was only reconnected after 2 Detroit Public Schools police officers tracked him down.
When the last time you been up to your daughter's school? I said, my daughter's school. I said, I don't even know what school she go to. I said, I've been looking for her. And they looked at each other and I was like, what's going on? They said, your daughter's missing.
He's dealt with serious medical issues in the 8 years away from Naziah. Jennings has congestive heart failure. He says in April, doctors gave him only...
Yes, I believe so. I believe that they were an item. It's just this whole case. We'll go over it again next week because I've done 3 or 4 different lives on Naziah Harris. But we'll definitely go over its entirety probably next week. I just wanted to play this here because the trial's long. So
7 days to live. While that prognosis has slightly improved, Mervyn needs a new heart. While dealing with those difficult health challenges, Mervyn says what really hurts his heart.
It sucks. This is just...
I believe my daughter was pregnant. Yes.
He says much of the family thinks Naziah was being sexually assaulted by a man who is a convicted sex offender. We're not naming him because he hasn't been officially charged in the case.
Yes, I was right. This was in Michigan.
Oh, God. They're like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. You know, what's done in the dark, it's going to come. You can't do this. You can't do this, man.
I agree. You can't do that. It's just, anyways. All right. So I do want to go to this case here, and then we'll play a couple more things, and I'll get the hell out of here. All right. So Harris's mother was not his girlfriend. Harris's aunt was the mother of his 5 children. But that's right. Okay. So, Naziyah, I think. Yep, Naziyah. I do want to play this because this happened. Let's go to the West Coast here. This has been going on over in the Seattle here. This was done. When was this done? This was done 8 days ago. We played a little of this. I think last week. Not sure, but let's play this here.
Details in the New Year's Eve quadruple.
So this is the New Year's Eve quadruple unaliving the Graham home during a New Year's Eve welfare check here.
Full death investigation in Puyallup.
Deputies conducted 2 other welfare checks.
This case kind of went under the radar with all of the the stuff in New Orleans happening, and but this happened, I think, right around the same time.
The Pierce County home before discovering 3 Vossler family members and a living girlfriend dead. The crime scene unfolded inside a home on Eastwood Avenue, a neighborhood described as family friendly. Fox 13's Dave Detling joins us from outside the Pierce County Sheriff's Department with more on the investigation and who they say is the accused killer.
Well, investigators believe this was all the work of Shane Vossler, who lived with his parents and his girlfriend in that home in Puyallup. They say that Vossler and his girlfriend died from apparent gunshot wounds to the head. We want to warn our viewers, details in this story are disturbing.
2 parents, a son, and the son's living girlfriend. We believe the son killed.
But I think that the theory with the Neziah Herrick case is he personally got involved in these relationships to do this to the kids. Because I think I did a live a while back, and that was their thinking was of why he was getting, because he did this before in the same kind of situation.
Investigators with the Pierce County Sheriff's Department telling Fox 13 they collected
It's kind of like their ruse to get into these relationships so they can act out their sicko, stuff.
Evidence from the New Year's Eve crime scene on Eastwood Avenue in Puyallup to link 33-year-old Shane Vossler to the death of his dad, William, and his mother, Eileen. According to the medical examiner, both had been stabbed. Detectives say Vossler left behind a note.
There was some writing left behind that helped us with that. It's not incredibly clear, but there's a lot of hints in it that we've been able to follow up on.
According to court documents, both the bodies of Vossler and his live-in girlfriend, Subin Lee, were found during a welfare check by deputies and family members. Deputies say the bodies of William and Eileen were not initially found until a search warrant was executed. Notes on the home's refrigerator led to a gruesome discovery.
The post-it notes seem to indicate the contents of the fridge were the bodies of the parents. It had some notes about dates and times.
Reports indicate the bodies had been in the home since July. Deputies also found several guns in the house.
It's heartbreaking to know that happened, that can happen, and just that the home sat there for so long without anyone checking on them is just beyond tragic.
Neighbors who learned about the true nature of this crime still in disbelief. As for why no one noticed, investigators say Shane Vossler was good at concealment, had no job, and kept to himself.
In this case, it was a fairly detached family, not a lot of outside interaction with people. It just was kind of falling through the cracks. There was no one to check on them.
We're also learning that Shane's girlfriend posted to social media about the two of them wanting to commit suicide together. That prompted one of the first initial welfare checks. We know the couple was living in the home with those 2 deceased bodies for at least 6 months. Shane going as far as having his father's pickup truck repossessed, so not to raise further suspicion. We're in Pierce County tonight. Dave Detling, Fox 13 News.
Yeah, it's just really crazy. And some of these cases, like I said, it's a crazy world, man. It's some of these cases you just look at and you're like, why? But these SA cases like this here, they're just really, wrap your head around them. It's just, so anyways, all right. So I do want to play a little of this too. So this was done a day ago. Washington authorities responded to a welfare check on New Year's Eve. This is the same thing. So I do want to play this. This kind of goes through the whole case more here. Let's play this here. And then I want to play one more thing and then I'll get out of here. I need to share this. Hold on a second here. Whoops.
Officials now say the couple's son and his girlfriend
lived in the home for months as their dead bodies were stored in the freezer. The details of this case are
This will be a little disturbing, but this case here, a little bit more in depth than the last video here. This is just, you can't make this stuff up.
almost too out there to believe. They sound like something out of a movie, but they're not. This really happened. This case takes place in Puyallup, Washington, not too far from Tacoma. That's where 68-year-old William Vossler lived with his wife, 66-year-old Eileen Vossler. And for a time, the couple's son, 33-year-old Shane Vossler, also lived in the home with his girlfriend, 34-year-old Sue Bin Lee. I just threw a lot of names and ages at you, so let's simplify it just a bit. A married couple lived in the home with their adult son and his girlfriend. That alone seems normal enough. What was out of the ordinary, though, is that neighbors stopped seeing Eileen and William.
I don't even know what TikTok is.
Around the house. Neighbors
I probably should.
say they had seen the couple going in and out in the past, and William was often in the driveway working on his vehicle. But other than that, both William and Eileen kept to themselves, so their disappearances weren't reported, at least for a while. Eventually, a series of welfare checks were called in, and first responders came to the house to check things out. There were 3 welfare checks in all, including one in November, made after Sue, that's the girlfriend, made a worrisome post on social media. She wrote that she was considering suicide with Shane. Concerned for her mental health, someone saw the post and called for another check of the home. Everything seemed normal there. There were no signs that someone was in danger inside the house, so sheriff's deputies didn't go inside. The first time anyone went inside was on New
This is in Washington State, so this is just bizarro.
Year's Eve, December 31st. William and Eileen had 2 other sons, so they were the ones who brought the house keys and unlocked the door. One of the sons went inside first and quickly came running out, saying there was a body on the floor with blood. This body was later determined to be Sue Bin Lee, who medical examiners say died from a gunshot wound to the head. Pierce County Sheriff's deputies then got a search warrant and once inside found 2 more bodies belonging to William and Eileen. They'd been stored in the garage freezer. On the outside of the freezer were 2 handwritten notes reading, quote, time of death, July 24th, 5:45 a.m. And the other note read, quote, time of death, July 24th, 3 p.m. Medical examiners later determined that William's cause of death was a stab wound to the chest and blunt force trauma. Eileen's cause of death was multiple stab wounds to the chest and neck. The manner of death for both parents was homicide. So who murdered William and Eileen? The investigation quickly shifted to their son Shane, who was found in an upstairs bathroom. Investigators determined Shane died by suicide after shooting himself in the head. But there are still so many questions. Investigators don't know a motive in the murders of William and Eileen, and they can't say for sure how Sue died. They know her cause of death is being shot.
Yeah, I don't use it either. TikTok or I was in the Discord for a while. I still am. I'm logged in all of these things, but I never really kind of used them. They didn't ban it to limit anyone's freedom of speech because China was using to track American citizens. That's what I thought, but I don't know. Let me get here.
But manner of death is still a question mark. It's unclear whether she shot herself or if Shane shot her. So her manner of death is listed as undetermined. It's also unclear what role Sue played in the murders of William and Eileen. Sheriff's deputies say Shane was definitely involved, but they can't confirm whether his girlfriend was too. What we do know is that both Shane and Sue continued to live in the home for months while the bodies of William and Eileen sat in the garage freezer. Hey guys, I have to pause this video just for a second to tell you about something I know you want to hear.
Oh, no, you don't.
It's this free app that gets you cash back, which you could earn. Click the link on every gallon on your first tank of gas. To talk about today. And for that, we're going to turn to former NYPD detective Tom Smith. Once a detective, always a detective, Tom. And I'm asking you, if you were called to the scene, how would you start your investigation?
Oh God, this is one out of a horror movie. When you get there, and once you get into the apartment, you have to. I was always taught as a young detective, when you go into a crime scene, put your hands in your pockets and don't touch the thing, and just kind of look around and give it a brief overview of what you got, where certain bodies are. But you want to take your time with going through the apartment. Obviously, you want to make sure there's no danger to the responding officers or anyone else that might be in the apartment, or the house, any survivors, anyone that needs medical attention. So you have to do that first. But then it's the preservation of that crime scene is vital. And when you have a house or an indoor crime,
Right? Like we don't have time for ads. We don't have time for that stuff. I don't have time. Discord is not easy. I don't understand a lot of. Yeah, I mean, Discord on its own is kind of a monster. Yeah. I like YouTube because it's, I mean, if you want to watch music or anything, it's years ago you used to go to a music store and try to find the records. And oh my God, you want music these days? You just go to YouTube. You can find anybody's video.
scene, it's actually pretty easy because all you're going to do is walk outside and close the door and no one goes near the house. So the preservation of the crime scene is the most important thing you can do in this situation.
I think what jumped out to me about this case is that we have two people who were murdered and then they're put in the freezer. I don't think I've ever covered a case like this. I've seen things like this on a Desperate Housewives episode, for example. That's what my mind goes to, you know, movies or TV. Is this something you've ever covered?
I'm thankful for everybody coming in tonight, though. It's good to see everybody in here.
Come across before?
No, not at all. Like you said, this is a book, this is a movie, this is a Netflix series. You know, you don't come across these, but you have to be ready for everything. You know, when you're a cop, you know, you have to be ready for any possibility of a crazy.
I kind of like this guy. He's straight to the point. He doesn't kid around a lot. What the word I'm looking for? He's just kind of very down to earth.
Like this, and when you're a detective, you know, you're waiting for something like this to one day happen, and for these guys, it did.
So to me, thinking about these bodies being in the freezer, it seems like preservation, maybe perhaps so that if the bodies were left out, they wouldn't start to decay. There wouldn't be a smell. The people wouldn't have to deal with them who murdered them. I mean, what do you think was the reason for putting them in the freezer?
Well, so no one knows about it. You know, if you get them out of the house and you go dig a grave, you know, whatever, or get rid of the body somehow, they're going to be found one way or another.
Right this very second, I still think we have a rabbit downstairs in our freezer. The rabbit didn't make it. Remember the house rabbit that had, I forget what the rabbit had. It had some sort of a viral infection, but didn't make it. So now I think it's still in the, because you can't bury it around here now. The ground's frozen. So it'll be springtime before we can get that thing out of here. But you never know what people have in their freezers.
And then that leads to an investigation. Whereas if they just stick them where they did in a freezer, all it is at this point is a question by neighbors, question by family.
Yeah, if you have any links that you want to throw in here, go ahead. Absolutely. Many think that freezing will throw off murder timeline when the bodies are found. Yeah, people are really stupid. I watched a case the other night where I think it was a refrigerator. That's how they found the evidence they needed to arrest Dum Dum down here in what the hell case am I thinking of now? I can't believe Adam Montgomery case because they got just enough evidence out of that refrigerator for the Montgomery case.
Family members, oh, have you seen them, where they've been, instead of a, you know, onslaught of an investigation if they happen to get them out of the house. So that's the reason for doing that.
Do you think it makes it more difficult in terms of the investigation that these people were frozen as far as what time of death or things that could have been involved in their body? They've now been frozen. It could make
I think this kind of forensic stuff is interesting here.
Make things more tough.
Well, it depends on the medical examination, you know, what they can get out of it. You know, they do miracles. Medical examiners are absolutely talented people who can get to the bottom of homicides and causes of death better than anyone. And the smallest little thing on a body can lead them down that road to make a determination. So I don't think that's going to play a big
Hey,
part.
Grandma Sherry, good to see you. It's always good to see Grandma Sherry in here. Thank you for coming in. I hope you're well. Back in 1980s, a woman killed her baby, put it in the parents' freezer for quite a while before dumping it. Yeah, people do. Harmony Montgomery, thank you. I don't know how I was thinking Kylie Rodney for some reason. I do know that they, as soon as they went in and got that refrigerator, they were going to make an arrest. I just knew that.
In it because of the technology today and the talent of medical examiners.
You're right. We talked to a lot of medical examiners on Law and Crime, and they do.
I mean, didn't that, I forget now, was it 2 years? They didn't know anything about it for 2 years, so they had a pretty good head start. It's always good to see Grandma Sherry in here. Okay, we'll play a little bit more of this, and I want to play one more video, and then I'll get out of here.
A fantastic job, things that I couldn't even imagine. But in this case, if Emmy wasn't able to pinpoint the time of death,
Is Mino Dino still here? I haven't seen Mino Dino in the chat in a while. I know he was here earlier.
whatever, they have a note that was written on the freezer with the time of death, the date that it happened, seemingly written by the son in this case. The parents were in the freezers, and then his handwritten note was on top of them talking about time of death. What do you make of that he took the time to note when it happened, and not necessarily why, but the time and the date?
Yeah, it's weird. The exact reason for doing that, I don't know. Whether it's just, this is going to sound weird, but a respect thing that it's his parents, and he just wants to make sure everyone knows what happened to them and the time it happened. It's weird, weird saying that, but that could be a reason. But you're going to, you have a starting point now with that. You're going to do a handwriting analysis of any other paperwork you could find in the house.
Him and his phone. I'm gonna have to get him another charger. I hope he's all right.
That matches maybe the son. So really to pinpoint, okay, he's the one who wrote those notes. And then you could start on a timeline either way, with those times and dates being a starting point.
All right, so let's get out of that there. I'll keep an eye on that there too. This is another one of these interesting cases, but I think they got this one pretty much contained here. All right, I do want to play this because this is kind of interesting. Probably doesn't have anything to do with true crime, but I thought it was kind of strange. So they got this coyote thing going on around Chicago area here. And one of these coyotes got involved in this store here. So they had to go in there and get this coyote out. And this is the video from that. The coyote in a store refrigerator. There we go.
About a hairy encounter at a Humboldt Park Aldi. Video shows Chicago police officers pulling coyote out of a produce
The coyote right there. That's a coyote. Literally a coyote.
cooler.
Tonight, our Marissa Sulik talked to wildlife experts about what happened at what we should all remember this time of year. Marissa.
But apparently this is some sort of an epidemic going on right now. Coyote mating season is in progress from January through March, and coyotes are now more visible, obviously, as they search for mates. But in a supermarket, really?
Well, Joe and Eric, I spoke with the Chicago Animal Care and Control, and they tell me that January through March is mating season for coyotes. So they're more active and territorial. But this is not the first time Chicago's stores or restaurants have seen a surprise like this.
It was a wild encounter this morning at the Aldi store on Kedzie when two Chicago.
Now, that wouldn't surprise me if they did it for this reason, to get rid of the rats. You have coyotes here around the farm. Yeah, we have coy dogs here. You can hear them at night. I don't think I've ever seen a coyote here. Look at his food, though. I don't think he's going after the rats.
Police officers armed with brooms and their own two hands
Watch out, guys. Watch out. Watch out. Watch out.
pulled this coyote by the tail out of the produce section.
It was quite a surprise.
Liza Lair saw the video circulating on social media, but since she is the assistant director of the Urban Wildlife Institute at Lincoln Park Zoo, she says it's not a total surprise.
The colder temperatures, we don't see
Yeah, it's
human
been really cold too, so that could be why they're trying to get inside. But it's rare to see a coyote in a supermarket.
activity really as much, out in our parks and in our natural areas. And so that's kind of the time where a lot of different wildlife might be a little bit more active.
This isn't the first time a coyote went into a Chicago establishment. Back in 2007, this coyote crept into a Quiznos in the Loop during peak lunchtime.
I jumped on top of the counter.
That coyote was captured by animal control and released to the wild the next day. In 2020, there were multiple coyote sightings from downtown along the Mag Mile to Lincoln Park, where a young boy was attacked. In 2023, over 1,000 coyote complaints were made to Chicago Animal Care and Control, and nearly 1,400 were made in 2024.
These animals are doing everything they can to stay away from us.
Chris Anker with the Forest Preserve of Cook County says this coyote and Aldi did not want food. They were probably walking down the sidewalk trying to avoid people when the door opened. For the next 3 months, Anker says they're focused on finding a mate during breeding season.
Right now, they're very, very active in setting up territories and defending them.
As for the Aldi coyote, they are heading to Flint Creek Wildlife Rehabilitation.
Aren't he cute? That thing's pretty cute right there. Yeah, they're trying to get away from us, just like I'm trying to get away from us. I mean, they're weird. They're in a supermarket. Maybe they were put there. Who knows?
In South Barrington. That's where they will be assessed before they are sent off into the wild. A far cry from the aisles of any Chicago area supermarket.
Now, Animal Control says that the coyote was uninjured. They also suggest that you keep your pets on a leash and you.
There's Dino. I was just talking about you. They can carry disease through the rats. Yeah, rats are bad.
You do not feed them. Also, if you do encounter one, make sure you make yourself big and yell.
A rat can really cost you a lot of money. Chicago's a big rat hole.
Never run. We're live in the control room tonight. Marissa Sulik, CBS News, Chicago.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that. I just wanted to play that. I thought that was kind of strange. All right, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I want to thank everybody for coming in. I appreciate everybody and their time. I know it's not early for a lot of people. Kind of feel bad for the coyote, though. It's just, what are you going to do? They're attracted by garbage. Yeah. It could be because there's just no food out there for them. I mean, if it's that cold, they're probably trying to find food. But I want to thank everybody for coming in. Dino, you're awesome. Thanks, buddy. Paula Fitzhenry's awesome. Lisa Joe, thank you for everything. I'm going to try to look into the fine cotton thing. Jocelyn, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Grandma Sherry, thank you for coming in. Heather Brown, thank you. Southern Gal, you're amazing. Matahari, thank you. Necessarily Evil. I know that Honeybee was in here. Honeybee's awesome. Lady Monet, thank you so much for coming in. Necessarily Evil. Charlotte, you're amazing. It's good to see you again. Get out of Belgium. Miranda Lee, you're great. Thank you, everybody in the lurkers, everybody on the replay crew. Thank you so much for Necessarily Evil. Thank you. I'm trying to scroll up here. Jocelyn's great. Thank you, Jocelyn. I know Heather E was in here. Thank you. Paula Fitzhenry. I probably just said that already. Son of Guy, you're great. Again, Miss Barbara, we love you. Thank you. I hope you get your dryer fixed. I know that Gail Hurd was in here. I hope she feels better. Heather Brown, let us know what goes on for sure. We love you, Heather Brown, for sure. I wouldn't be here without Heather Brown for sure. All right, so I'm probably going to miss a few people. That's Support with Steph was here. Support with Steph was awesome. It's up to her. A great person, very smart. Who else was in here? Matahari was in here. JC Ann's great. I'm going to try to catch that live you do tomorrow too. I think you're doing a live tomorrow, right? I'll definitely see Miss Senegal soon. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. If I miss anybody, I'm sorry, but it's life. You guys are awesome. You guys are fantastically awesome, and I will see Mama Duck. Thank you so much, Mama Duck, for being on the replay. Thank you guys for coming in. I'm going to get out of here, play my outro, and get out of here. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. That's it. Let's do this here. Everybody stay safe. And we'll see you next week. Stay safe, everybody.